Hey, good morning. Oh, all right, my plan is to work on some hands. See, see how much of this hand we can get done in the next couple hours. Should be pretty good. Now I need. mm, oh, I've had it. See if we can set up a little time lapse. I've been trying to time lapse most of these paintings lately. Hey, looks good, right? I don't like it. Yeah, let's see if I can get this hand in focus. Like that. Now this is looking really good. Oh man. I don't know if I can get this in the closer. Get this in the way. Yes. Hold on. That might be the best spot for right now for both cameras. Alright, this is my last day off. So I'm gonna really enjoy it. I really don't have any plans for today, but and that's great. I haven't had plans for the past several days, which is awesome. Alright, do I need any colors immediately? I don't think so. Should be able to get by for a minute. You getting ready for work, Wendy? What you got going on? Ooh, a 2 week Easter break. I like how that sounds. I like the sound of that. Yeah. 40-minute break. You just be on the go all day. All right, wrote another song called Braveheart. Why is that not looking dark enough for me? What's going on here? I wrote a new song called Braveheart. Direct specifically talking about Israel and this war, or like Israel in general, and wars in general. Didn't there? I wanted to say Israel, but I didn't. Um, but I say enough stuff where you just absolutely know that I'm talking about Israel. Well, I do, not outright, but I kind of actually do say Israel in one part of the song. Still not outright just saying the word Israel, but still, and I made it very, very clear. I am gonna need some more pink and quick. I don't know where the fuck I put my phone at. The whole time I was talking, I'm looking for my phone and I still don't see this motherfucker. Give me 1 second. Where the fuck is my damn phone? Ah, boy. Mm, oh, here it is. I got it. It took me longer than I wanted to make that thumbnail this morning. It kept giving me like some weird stuff, and even the last one it gave me, I had to like crop it because it just added some shit that's not there in the pane. Like, bro, what are you doing? My internet is moving super slow this morning. Trap House Entertainment. Yeah, yeah. Man, the evil empire keep pushing sins higher, cause the leaders all liars. Too bitter their desires, they'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire, I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires, got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirates, tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Ever speeding, Jacob Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth been 1,000 corruption. It's astounding and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs. All drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center of the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since. Ain't I down in town. We came from from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in they plunder IDF. And the iron dome, got me feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the billion on the under y'all. Always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been knocking out raiders with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before our greatness is forsaken. Left feet on red. Left feet on red. Left feet on red. Trap house and tank. Let's be on red. Let's be on red. Yeah. Man, the evil empire keep pushing sins higher, cause the leaders all liars to appeal to their desires. They'll set the world on fire, not a situation dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirate tired of the satire. Getting tight like Dame John, spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party. And we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jacob Island, the files just keep piling. They lead them to be silent for carrots. They keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs. All drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center. The final hours I've been taking notes ever since. Ain't knocked down the tower. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in they plunder IDF. And the iron dome, I can feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the billion on the under y'all. Always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been knocking out raiders with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before our greatness is forsaken. Left feet on red. 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 I sent it to my homeboy last night. He was thoroughly impressed. He texted me back. He's like, bro, that shit crazy. He said you even got the synagogue of Satan part in there. He was like, bro, that shit crazy. And so once again, I didn't say Israel, but IDF is the Israeli Defense Force. So I kind of said it still. I told him I was writing it. He called me the other day when I was still writing it. I was like, I'm writing a song about Israel in this war. He was like, it's like, okay, so you better be careful what you say. I was like, he said, just be careful what you say, bro. I feel like dropping this shit as a fucking single. I swear. Just like putting this shit out like now, like right now. Wait a minute. Did I curse in there? I think I did. I think I did curse in there. Dang, I ain't had no coffee. I still gotta go to the bathroom. Mm. Take it back real quick.
The early bird catches the worm. Trap House Entertainment. 4A, M&N-E-P-A, and I don't need any delay. Record it and watch the replay, cause my time you cannot replay. 4A, M&N-E-P-A, and I don't need any delay. Record it and watch the replay, cause my time you cannot replay. My alarm is set for 4 a.m. I wake up early, hit the gym, burning off the cortisol every time I grip that steel. Sex appeal and keep the chisel. I'm the shit like Pepto Bismol. 5 a.m.
We got snow last night. I just realized that we got a little snow last night.
Pack my lunch and check my pockets. 6 a.m. head to the office, prepping for my STEM class, cause we working on some awesome projects. Eyes on body, code and logic. 10 a.m. I'm at the prison, teaching life skills like a father. I stay sharper than your barber. You don't hustle, they don't holler. I ain't got no time to waste. 24 hours a day. I'm always trying to be great. Seems you trying to be late. I ain't got no time to waste. 24 hours a day. I'm always trying to be great. Seems you trying to be late. 4 a.m. and it's my day off. Get early for the big pay off. Brush my teeth, wash my face off. Get the bud and I take off. 5 a.m. I'm in the stew. I got my paints, I got my brews. On the live stream, I got my crew. You know what we about to do. I'm about to make them colors blend. Bump some music, let it spin. TBG, we get it in. Tiny brush game for the win. And we break it up. I'm hungry, pancakes stacking up. Cold apple juices in my cup, and then my shorty back it up. 4 a.m. and any beat, and I don't need any delays. Record it and watch the replays, cause my time you cannot replay. 4 a.m. and any beat, and I don't need any delays. Record it and watch the replays, cause my time you cannot replay. I ain't got no time to waste. 24 hours a day. I'm always trying to be great. Seems you try to be late. I ain't got no time to waste. 24 hours a day. I'm always trying to be great. Seems you try to be late. Trap House Entertainment. Yeah, yeah. Man, the evil empire keep pushing sins higher, cause the leaders all liars too bitter. Their desires, they'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirate tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party. And we know who the buyers, Epstein and Jekyll Island. The files just keep piling, they need them to be silent. Carrots, they keep smiling, they leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain, hit dogs start howling. The truth, keep it a thousand. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center of the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since, ain't I got a tower. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in that plunder. IDF and the Iron Dome, about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the Babylonian, on the under y'all, always little underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle logs. 1947, they've been knocking out raiders with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before our greatness is forsaken. Left feet on red. 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 Trap House Entertainment.
Man, it took a lot for me to get that song out. I swear, I was like determined to finish it the other day, but also determined like for it not to be one of my bullshit songs. Like, come on, chap. Come on, Bresky. You wrote like 5 bullshit songs back to back, bro. Well, sorrow isn't bullshit. It's nothing great, but it's a thinking song, like introspective kind of, you know. So I enjoy Sorrow. I like that song a lot. I was like, yeah, can we write something serious? Just and make it good though. Not overwhelming, but not definitely not underwhelming. Got the thank you. You see that hit right in the sweet spot. The hook with the little chant thing going on and the chorus. Once again, do I curse in this thing? I try. Wait a minute. I think I say shit. Do I say shit?
Entertainment.
No curse words. That boy good. Okay, that Quagmire. They some words, and I got here that I'm pretty pleased with too. So I say that Quagmire. I say angina. I mentioned Jekyll Island. That was a good one. That's a history drop in there though with that Jekyll Island. Um, Squeezing homicidal maniacs in there is pretty good. It's not; those aren't like extra terrific words, but the second verse I got psychopaths in there. Um, I think the one reference to the tomahawk. So everybody is saying that we struck that school and killed all those girls, those schoolgirls, with a tomahawk missile. And Trump was like, well, everybody got tomahawks. No, they don't, Trump. Those are our weapons. So, and those are very expensive missiles. So, screams from a tomahawk, because come in screaming, and then the tomahawk is like, of course, a reference to the Native American weapons, and they would yell and scream. So, screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holler cost? Scream and holler, but then holocaust is very, very good wordplay on that one. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holocaust? Doing the same thing to other people, even worse. If you say it was done to you, you know, what's this going to cost all of us? Probably one of my favorite bars in the whole thing. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holocaust? We'll definitely do a reading of the lyrics later.
Trap House Entertainment. Left feet on red. Left feet on red. Left feet on red. Yeah, yeah. Man, the evil empire keep pushing sins higher, 'cause the leaders all liars. To appeal to their desires, they'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to it. My blood sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime lamp, pirate tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Never speed and Jacob Island. The files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots. They keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling. The truth keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the city to the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since. Ain't knocked down the tower. We came from the same star and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same star and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. film red. That film red. That film red. That film red. That film
I don't know. I need to drop this shit like immediate. I might throw this shit on YouTube real quick.
Trap house at the table.
If I can make like a quick video, I might do that today, yo. Edit a video down for this shit and just drop it on YouTube, and then have it as part of my next album.
Keep pushing sins higher, cause the leaders all liars. To appeal their desires, they'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire, I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to do with my blood sucking vampires. Got us in a quagmire, maritime land pirate. Tired of the sad tire, getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the nose through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots. They keep smiling, they leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain, hit dog, start howling. The truth, keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center of the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since, ain't knocked down the tower. We came from the same star and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same star and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, more crimes, genocide, taking lives in their flooded IDF. And the iron dome, thunder, feel the thunder, screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the billion on the under y'all, always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they been knocking out raiders with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before our greatness is forsaken. That film red. 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 That film red.
All right, that's a good one. I need a new song now. I'm almost tired of hearing that shit already. I'm almost tired of hearing that shit.
Follow me, follow you, follow me.
Follow you, follow me.
Sing it like, lay, da, da, da.
I'm gonna say that progress is being made.
Okay, so Indian person like my stuff. That's cool. All the way from Bollywood. That's what's up. Yo, hey, people everywhere connecting with the music. That is pretty dope. I like it. Where's my YouTube? Okay. Alright. I'm fine.
They've got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is the first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating. Smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making the app is the idea, why not build an app that gives me endless app ideas? So let's make it. Pro tip, I draft the full app spec in ChatGPT, and then I drop the prompts directly in Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure. And here it is, everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So I'm going to add a swipe left and swipe right interface. Same usability we all know. Now I'm going to add one more feature. So every idea that I favor will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea.
Have our special guest with us, Catherine Austin Fitz, is back to the show. She's an American investment banker who served as managing director of Dillon Reading Company and United States Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development for Housing in George W. Herbert Walker Bush's administration. Also co-authored report in 2017 alleging $21 trillion in unauthorized spending by the United States Department of Defense and U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. 17-year period. Welcome back to the show, Catherine Austin Fitz. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
So now, we were just talking briefly before we started
I
about
love
how
this lady,
feeling
though.
anxious
She
about
is
the war,
so
and
good
you said
and so
that
knowledgeable.
infection has to bubble up to the surface. Is that how you described it?
So I think we have a problem, and our problem is a secret governance system. And that secret governance system is centralizing control into a control grid that will end the democratic republic way of government that we in the United States have enjoyed, will shred the Constitution, and they continue to do things that consolidate power, and war is one of them. And I think that problem is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until they fail or we change it.
The problem, you mean, of secret governance control over us, that problem?
Both secret government system. So let me go back. The fundamental bureaucracy, or the key bureaucracy to that control system, is the central banking system. And the model we've used in the West is called the central banking warfare system. So the central banks print money and the military make sure they take it. And every 80 to 120 years, that system does a reset, which is a monumental change. It's a complete, and in fact, it's a change in which plague laws traditionally have been part of what they do to centralize control of labor and capital and, do their reset. Oftentimes you switch the reserve currency when that happens. And we are in the middle of a reset. And it's a gut-wrenching one because you're talking about unbelievably fundamental changes to the central bank warfare model. They're looking to use digital technology to go to a whole new model that sort of ends currency and goes to a technocratic control grid. That's a once every 500 years event. That's huge. So if you're feeling like you're being rocked and rolled, that's why. It's the reinvention of everything.
You're saying this reset, when was the last reset?
It was basically the Spanish flu, and after World War I, they did a reset. And essentially, if you go back, the reserve currency was the sterling, and then the U.S. created the Federal Reserve that gave them the ability to then do, between World War I and World War II, a duopoly between sterling and the dollar, and then in World War II it went all to the dollar. And so the last reset basically moved from sterling to the duopoly with the dollar and sterling after World War I.
Okay, and that was, but the creation of the Fed was before World War I, right? Correct?
Right. Before you can have reserve or currency responsibility, whether it's as sharing it with the sterling or sharing it with or being your own reserve currency, you need certain infrastructure to manage those positions and interaction with other parties around the world. And that was one of the reasons they wanted to put the Fed in operation. But at the same time they wanted the Fed, they did all sorts of things to back up that system, including creating the IRS and implementing all sorts of federal taxation. And I would say they also brought in the drugs and significantly increased drug trafficking in the United States to build the enforcement mechanisms that they also needed. So, there was a series of different things that happened at the same time they did the Fed, which reorganizes institutions to help to continue to centralize control of power.
Making my podcast, I don't like making short clips of my podcast. So the AI chooses the best clips. Maybe this one.
Right now.
Yeah, because it knows what's important.
And so right now, there's a reset happening that is as big as that?
I would say bigger.
Really?
And I would, because moving the reserve currency from the sterling to a duopoly between the U.S. and sterling, that's a change within the model. Digital technology is fundamentally changing how the financial transactions are done and ends currency. We went from one reserve currency to two kinds of reserve currencies and then to a third, US dollar standalone, but all of those were currencies. Now what they're trying to do is implement a control grid where you get rid of currencies and you just have, the combination of programmable money with rule systems that give total central control. So the head of the Bank of International Settlements, which is the central bank of central bank, said in 2020, the beauty of the system is we can set the rules centrally and we have the technology to enforce them. He said it with respect to central bank digital currencies, but if you look at the legislation that the US has passed and is passing, they are passing legislation to allow them to do CBDCs privately through stablecoins and digital assets and implement the same control systems. And so, there's been states, and now the Congress is moving to outlaw central bank digital currencies. But if you look at what they're proposing to do, they're just saying instead of the central bank issuing programmable money that will be used to control you, we will have the banks that own the central bank issue quote unquote private money that has the same rule system that can control you. And I'm talking to you today from Tennessee. I've been in the States for the last couple of weeks trying to get legislation passed at the state level that stops programmable money from being able to control you. So what we're saying is, great, you want to do crypto with all sorts of programs and conditions and terms and conditions, that's great, but you can't force somebody to transact that way. You have to give them an alternative, and you can't use programmable money to strip them of their basic constitutional rights.
Tell people exactly what you mean by programmable money.
Okay, so programmable money, let's go back to the COVID lockdowns. Programmable money is money where if I say you're locked down and you can't go a mile from your house, or you've got to be in a 15-minute city, your money won't work further than that. They've got you under surveillance, and they can have a software and AI that can track what you're doing and where you're doing, and then influence or control where you can transact. So let's say under your health plan, I don't think you should eat any pizza that's not made with, other than pizza made with insect-based flour, or you should only have lab-grown meat. Your money won't work to buy real meat. It's only eligible to buy what we say.
And of course, they mean using a credit card or something like that. You don't mean cash.
No, and one of the bills we were just testifying on this week was to protect cash and keep cash alive, because one of the most important things that everyone can do is to use cash, promote cash, do business with businesses that will take cash, because this only works if we can go to a 100% digital system. If they are able to kill cash, I assure you they will have, we will go from a world where we live in a constitutional republic to a world of complete slavery. It's that extreme. Control your spatial movements. They will control what, where you can go, what you can do, who you can buy from. The way they can force you to shop at the company store is your money will only work at the company store. talking about creating rule systems top down, and those rule systems could be different for you and me. So let's say, for example, because Epstein's on everybody's mind. Let's say you've got 3 kids and I want to be able to use one for parties at Epstein's Island. Well, I come to you and say, Mr. Jordan, pick a child. I need a child. You have 3 kids. If you want money to feed your 2 kids, you've got to give me 1 kid. Got to transgender 1 kid. Got to have a vaccine mandate. You don't, I turn off your money or I cut your money. Let me give you an example because this has been growing kind of regularly all along. When I first moved to Tennessee, working with a reporter in Washington, helping her understand how the companies that were drugging kids with Ritalin and other drugs like Ritalin, how that system worked and how the economics worked and what it meant to the stocks that were trading in the stock market. And I got to Tennessee and I had a neighbor who had just retired early from being a teacher. And I said, why did you retire? She said, I couldn't take it anymore. The parents were constantly lobbying me to certify that their kids were ADHD when they weren't. And I said, why were they doing that? She said, because if they certified them as ADHD and put them on Ritalin, then they could get Social Security disability for the kids, and that's how they get the money to feed them. So to feed all their kids, they had to certify that they were ADHD and put them on drugs so they could afford to feed them. So there was an enormous incentive system in the school system and in the parents to drug kids unnecessarily.
Okay, and I mean, half the population's in some kind of psychotropic medicine, am I wrong about that?
I thought it was about a third.
Oh, okay.
What I will say, because I do so much traveling in America by car, there is a tremendous deterioration in cognition in America. And it could be many things. It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be, pharmaceuticals, it could be just the stress and inflation. Inflation is very stressful.
So tell me what, so you say there's a better decline in cognition. What do you mean by cognition? How does it manifest?
Manifests in terms of the number of traffic accidents and fatalities, but also just driving behavior on the road or, behavior when you're going to get gas or in the truck stop or, in the place you might go to buy food.
And you don't think that's caused by cell phones?
What's the fastest way to go viral right now?
Dancing? Doing something
I'm having
crazy
somebody else
close to
say
3
it,
times a day?
Nope.
and
That's what I
not
heard.
just me.
We had a power.
You can just tell people are stupid just by traffic. And I know I get like extra wound up sometimes when I'm driving because I'm an aggressive driver and I speed. Okay, that's fine. And I know those are my issues. But watching the reaction time and just the ability for other people to handle and maneuver a motor vehicle, like some of these people shouldn't drive. Some people shouldn't drive. Like your cognitive awareness and your reaction time is just not there. And most of the time, like when I see somebody driving really slow or stupidly or not really paying attention to what they're doing, it's like sometimes I just assume it may be an older person, that somebody granddad and he's been retired for a long time and he's not in a rush to get anywhere and his eyesight might not be the greatest. And then you get beside the person or you can see him and it's like, no, this is just some young person who's either on their phone or just, I don't know, inexperienced or just not a good driver. And that's why I say anybody can drive a car. It's like, but are you good at it? Like anybody can draw. Anybody can draw. But are you good at it? I can't draw a stick figure. Yes, you can. You can draw a stick figure, but are you good at it though? That's the question. traffic, I think traffic is a big indication of like stupidity, cognitive ability, attention, retention, and reaction time. Like people who the light is green and the traffic is moving through the light they still hit their brakes. Like, why are you slowing down? The light is full solid green, the traffic is flowing. Why are you hitting your brakes?
Crowded, John. Apologies. I hope every
Yeah, there's snow
Well,
outside. What the fuck?
yeah, that's what we have here. But I forgot where we left off, but I'm sure it was about central currency and central banking. But I want to just jump really quickly. And Catherine, you were saying while we were waiting to get rebooted that Polymarket says it's a 50% chance that the Democrats.
I just saw a new tweet saying, Polymarket's now saying, the last time I looked, it was 89% the Democrats take the House, but now they're saying apparently they get both houses.
The House and the Senate, and so
Yeah.
I you know, someone like me says, oh well, it's just a different, you know, same boss as the old boss, but different face. What do you say?
In terms of implementing the control grid, yes. You're going to have, it's a unit party and they're going to keep, so I'll say it this way, the Epstein syndicate or the Rothschild syndicate, any way you want to say it, is going to keep implementing the control grid. The unit party works, you know, they both work for the same Iron Bank, if you will. So if you've seen Game of Thrones, you know who so they both work for the same Iron Bank. What you will do, though, is you will get impeachment hearings in the House that will bring forward enormous amounts of money, information about grift on the Republican side, particularly the Trump family. And that will happen when Americans are going to be really struggling financially from inflation and what's happening in the economy. And then you go to the Senate and you're going to need to get a 2/3 vote. But if you look at how many Republicans are up at 28, if the grift is as effective as I think it will be in sort of upsetting everybody, then you're gonna be able to impeach. So the chances of a impeachment are very high if the Democrats can get the Senate.
Saying, because it seems to me that almost all of Washington is in on some kind of a grift. Nancy Pelosi famously way outperformed the market. Joe Biden had all those millions of dollars from Ukraine and China, and so now Donald Trump is just doing his version of the grift. So
Right.
would this be but you're saying this is even greater? His grift is even worse than everybody else?
So here's what's interesting. Many of the times you get no movement on grift because everybody's in on it.
Right.
You know, so one party doesn't want to shoot at another party over grift because those bullets will come around and hit them.
Right.
What's interesting about some of the things that Trump has done and Musk has done is that's grift that won't come around and hit the Democrats. There's a fair amount of grift, from what I can tell, that the bullet won't come flying around and hit the other side of the uniparty. And that gives them an unprecedented opportunity to have fun with impeachment. Now, the danger, and this is true, is once you start getting going on grift, then the other guys can get going on your grift, and then it gets out of hand because everybody, with rare exception, is deeply in it.
Putting one restaurant in a year is hard enough, but two,
Borderline insane.
through platforms like Upwork, we found some freelance creatives help with branding, digital menus, even AI tools to streamline operations. It was fast, affordable.
So what is the grift that they're not? So I used to make a joke. You know why it took so long to impeach Donald Trump the first time was because they had to find a crime he committed that they were complicit in, and that's exactly what it was. So
Right.
they were all gung ho on sending armament to Ukraine, and he's paused it, and so they were not involved in that, so they could go get him on that.
Right.
What is his grift now that they're not involved in?
So I think a lot of the grift on the crypto side is not. I think you can probably target that and have it not come back on the Democratic side.
Is that the Trump stablecoin thing? Is that what you're talking about?
There's multiple things in the crypto space, but what you had in the 24 election is you had the crypto industry pour money into the parties and the political process, and then the payback was extraordinary. And what has been and what was being proposed is certifiably the most financially irresponsible stuff I've ever seen in government. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Now, that's the long way away, because the question is, if you look at what Trump is trying to do by asserting federal control of the elections, he's basically trying to control or destroy the elections, is what it looks like. So the question is, what will happen? The federal government tries to assert control of the election process. No.
Hasn't the Supreme Court ruled against Trump in lots of big cases, his tariff case for sure, and his deportations. So do you think that the Supreme Court would be a check on Donald Trump's trying to take over the election? Because the elections the states run the elections right now, and he's
right. The states run the elections, but he's trying to consolidate control. And I personally know of states where, the person who's responsible for managing the databases and the data is being threatened to turn it over to the feds without any legal authority to do it. I mean, there's privacy concerns and other concerns. So, and from what I can tell, the feds are being very heavy-handed. The danger is that Trump says, oh, we need martial law because the country is filled with Iranian saboteurs, and and we need martial law, or we need the National Guard, or you're going to get, we need to drop troops in the street. So, for example, we have a weekly show at the Slurry Report called Money Markets, and we've been very negative about what is happening with ICE from the beginning. Because the theory was you create a special private army and you send them in to get the hardened criminals. And it sounds wonderful. Who wouldn't love to get hardened criminals thrown out of the country? But in fact, that is not what has been happening. And the courts have been extremely hard on Trump and ICE. But for example, Trump dropped the National Guard into DC on the theory that it would stop crime. What has been, in my experience, because I have a lot of experience in low-income neighborhoods in DC, I built a business in one of them. I know a lot about the drug trafficking. What is the number one cause of crime in DC? The number one cause of crime, in my experience, is the U.S. intelligence agencies bringing in drugs and then sending people to enforce against the drugs, right? And so the drug gangs, it's like if the U.S. government wants to stop crime in D.C., they don't need to, drop in military to stop it. They need to stop bringing in the drugs.
Yeah. Okay. So you
Right.
you would is that a CIA FBI joint operation?
So I can only tell you about the periods that I researched the Iran-Contra and the Dark Alliance allegations. So I have an online book. In fact, it's called Dylan Reed and the Aristocracy of Stock Profits. And it's about the push to build, using federal money, private prisons. And it's about why that model is so hopelessly and incredibly corrupt. But I get deeply into the fact that Wall Street and Washington are deeply dependent on illegal money and cash flows. So, during the Iran-Contra hearing, I was working with a reporter from Insight Magazine, which at the time was the Washington Times Magazine, and a spokesperson for the Department of Justice said the U.S. economy launders $500 billion to $1 trillion a year of illegal money. So that's narcotics trafficking, it's sex trafficking, it's illegal gambling, it's everything. And so $500 billion to $1 trillion a year is a huge amount of money for which, if you look at what it takes to finance a deficit spending by the government, or what it takes to keep the stock market up, or what it keeps.
And this is what I've been saying the whole time too. People think you can just end the drugs and the war on drugs and really stop drugs in America. You can't. It is a part of our economy. The drug trade is a part of our economy. There's multi-billion dollars made every year, and the government is in on it. And for them to fund their little backdoor black projects where they really don't want any paper trail, that shit comes from illegal shit. The government has to sell drugs and do crimes and traffic people and sell guns and weapons and all this shit illegally to make money that can't be traced. Or so, they try not for it to be traced, but everybody knows this shit. This is very common knowledge. The government sells drugs. And so the war on drugs will never be won. You will never get drugs out of the inner city. You'll never get drugs out of the country, period. Because it's too much money. It makes too much money. And that's why Utah was smart and just say, you know what, make all that shit legal. And that'll stop some of the advantages that the government can make, because the prison system is another big exploitative of the drug trade, and they make a lot of money off incarceration. So yeah, why does federal money go towards prisons? Because it's a money racket. And how can you keep the prisons full? You keep the societies and people degenerate. So you give them poor education, you give them poor employment, and you feed their mind with propaganda, and then you give them access to drugs and weapons. Instead of loving your countrymen and trying to build the greatest nation ever by providing the best education and healthcare and food and everything else so that everybody can thrive. We don't do that because the ones at the top just want to stay at the top. And so instead of thriving, I will let you destroy yourself. I'm going to help you destroy yourself, actually. Because I'm going to give you the drugs and the guns. You know, oh, these black gang members, these black drug dealers, they're the real problem. They're the real issue. You know what? Black people don't make guns, and we don't make drugs. We don't make guns. We don't make bullets. There's no major um, gun manufacturer or ammunition maker that is black. You know, we're not the Smith and Wesson family and the Ruger family and all these other people. That's not our thing. And we never got our 40 acres, so we don't have enough farmland to grow, massive acres of coca plants and poppy fields and all this shit to make coke and opium and heroin and all this shit. We don't make that shit. That shit don't come from us. But somehow we are seen as the top racial group that has influence over this part of society. And we don't. It has major influence over us. And the narrative has been spun in such a way that it demonizes and criminalizes the black person for using all of the things that were placed in our lap. Here's some alcohol. Here's some drugs. And here's a gun. Now you take all of this. You go be a good boy. Don't get in no trouble. I don't want you to go hurt nobody or yourself.
what it takes to run the economy. Our banks are the global leaders in money laundering, and that's a huge business for us. Now, that business is not run by African American teenagers in Anacostia.
Damn. It's like, see, this is my first time hearing this interview, but I ain't stupid, man. I can say the same shit that the professionals say. It's like, nigga, hey, we don't, yo, young black kids, which are normally gang members, young black kids, or Spanish kids, or whatever. There's a bunch of Asian gang members too, but they're young people. They're not like 40-year-old bankers and 55-year-old investment brokers and hedge fund managers. These kids don't do that stuff. Like, where's the power really centered? Where's the central power located? And who understands? If you are in power and you don't understand your power and your breadth and scope of power, should you really be in power? Once again, that's like the Nuremberg trials where the Nazis tried to deny that they knew what the fuck was going on. And how the fuck were you in power, bro? You were in power from this year to this year, right? Yes. And this shit was going on and you didn't know about it? No. I'll get the fuck out of here. Ain't no way in hell. So ain't no way in hell the power structure in the real drug dealers. I tell all my guys in prison, you're a drug peddler. You don't make deals. You don't make big deals on where drugs come from and where they're going. You're not a drug dealer. You're a drug peddler. And so they know these drug dealers, and they know where this shit comes from. And they know how it gets down to the street level for somebody who got like $18 in their pocket to get access to this stuff. You think the drug dealers selling anything for $18 or $12? I only got $12, man. You think any drug dealers are selling shit like that? These motherfuckers bring that shit in by the tons, and they make billion-dollar deals to get shit through customs. And so for that shit to get into the country through customs and get all the way down to the street level, somebody knows something is going on. Everybody can't be ignorant to the apparatus. So none of y'all don't know how this thing works. Oh, y'all just put money in it and get money out.
So, let me just run this past you real fast and get because Donald Trump said he was going to end the deficit.
How critical is an issue is the national debt, and how specifically would you try to bring that down if you're reelected?
Well, the way you bring it down is through really great growth. Also, you bring it down with tariffs because these countries are making all of our product. When you have a 100% tariff on a nation, better than the money is the fact that they're not going to want to pay it very long and they're going to build a plant here. If they build a plant here, there is no tariff. So we're going to do it through growth. We're going to have very rapid growth, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it quickly and effectively, and it's going to make a lot
Very
of money.
rapid growth.
Down our debt. We have to start paying down our debt.
I love how camping's full of surprises. Except when the surprise is an allergy attack. Luckily, I've got Claritin D. Get fast, powerful relief from your worst symptoms, like nasal congestion. It starts working in as little as 30 minutes. Claritin clears. Use directed. You probably know this is print for business cards, but did you know we print everything you need to brand your business? We print banners and signs that help you stand out, and must-have merch like tote bags, t-shirts, and hoodies. Right now, new customers can get 20% off with code NEW20, because if you need it, we print it at vistaprint.com.
Well, here's from Fortune magazine. It says the U.S. borrowed $50 billion a week past 5 months. So the U.S. Treasury's borrowing showed no sign of slowing as the U.S. headed deeper into fiscal year 26, with the CBO reporting that another $1 trillion was added to the federal deficit in the first 5 months. The monthly budget from the CBO, updated to February 2026 and released yesterday, showed that the government is estimated to have borrowed $308 billion last month alone. Of course, with more borrowing comes higher interest costs of the debt. Between October 25, when the 26th fiscal year started, and February, the Treasury spent an additional $31 billion on net interest on public debt compared to the prior year. As a result, in just 5 months, the Treasury forked out a total of $433 billion to service public debt, which is now nearing $38.9 trillion. And the CBO says that the outlays for interest increased because the debt was larger than it was in the first 5 months of fiscal year 2025, and because of higher long-term interest rates. Declines in short-term interest rates partially mitigated the overall rise in interest payments. So despite the eye-watering sums, the deficit was actually an improvement on last year's borrowing for the same period. The government needed to borrow an additional $142 billion compared to this year's figure. So just tell me what all this means, and what do you think the effect is, or how does this relate to the Iran war?
Okay, so we receive enormous subsidy from all around the world because we're the reserve currency. So when people say, our way of life is supported by that, literally, you'll see estimates of people saying if we lost the reserve currency status, the value of the US dollar against global currencies around the world would drop by as much as 50 to 90%. One of the reasons you're feeling inflation is because the value of the dollar and all fiat currencies is going down. So we've been losing or we've been de-dollarizing. So we still are the reserve currency, and we still have an enormous market share of global reserves, as well as, being the dominant currency used for trade. And there's no currency in the world that comes close to our market share. So if somebody said, I want to leave the dollar tomorrow, part of the problem is they don't have a place to go. And people in the markets will say the dollar is both dangerous and dominant. Okay. However, that position of reserve currency depends enormously on maintaining a global military presence that is effective. If you lose that, so for example, if the Straits of Hormuz close and you can't open them, and you make it clear to the world that you don't control the sea lanes, all bets are off and things are going to change. So we have seen a steady de-dollarization of other countries not wanting to buy treasuries and now getting out of treasuries. Now, the US response has been to propose to do global stablecoins. Now that institutions won't buy our paper, we're hoping to get retail people all around the world out of their local currency and into treasury through stablecoins, because the stablecoins that we have now created a regulatory framework with the Genius Act are essentially like trading a little treasury bill. You buy $1 stablecoin, the dollar goes into treasuries, and you end up trading treasuries. Okay, so what the Iran war means right now is we have signaled to many allies around the world and many institutions around the world, you can't trust the US and you can't trust the US dollar. And that, if anything, should accelerate de-dollarization. Now, because of the crisis and the ramifications to energy and food markets, you're seeing the dollar strengthen because a lot of people are getting out of stocks, they're getting out of risk assets and going into dollars. So the dollar is holding its own. But the US has signaled both on its management, Trump came in promising to lower spending. He hasn't lowered it, he's increased it. So the deficit is worse. And the other things you could do to lower the deficit, like improving the productivity and efficiency of how money is spent, is not gotten better, it's gotten worse. So the re-engineering of government internally, whether it's cutting the deficit or improving performance, has gone the wrong way. And now you're embroiled in foreign wars and proving to allies around the world that you can't protect the sea lanes. So it's a very bad message, and it's likely to increase de-dollarization. What does that mean to the average person? It means inflation. The value of the dollar is less, and what Trump has been trying to do is slap on tariffs in the hope that that could offset. One, it could stop us from buying from abroad because we're making less and less for ourselves. But the other is it could help deficit. Now, grossly oversimplified, we have $6 trillion a year of expenses, $4 trillion a year of revenues, and $2 trillion that we're borrowing. And as the interest goes up, the debt skyrockets. So you're in a downward spiral, and there are many ways out of that downward spiral. But let's talk about the political refusal to get out of that downward spiral. So I'll give you an example. What is one of the greatest things we would have to do to increase productivity in the general economy?
Life doesn't wait, and neither should you.
To increase
Elite can help you deal with
productivity
pain
in the
less throughout your
general
day,
economy,
whether it's a long day
we
on
gotta
your
make
feet, a
stuff
demanding-
ourselves. We would have to restructure again, because we went from manufacturing to information, and so now we've been hedging our bets on Silicon Valley with big tech and big data and information, and we've really stripped away our manufacturing and production. But to discontinue all the contracts with Mexico and China and Canada and everybody else, and to open up factories that have been shut down for years. So we went for brunch the other day at this really cool building, but the building was an old cigar factory. And, it was shut down and decommissioned. I don't know what brand or what maker or who owned what kind of cigars they were making, but obviously they found somewhere else to make the cigars, or someone else was making them cheaper and they couldn't compete. But even shit like cigars, like, we don't make cigars here. And it's not just us. It's like went to Puerto Rico recently and wanted to buy some trinkets for my coworkers or whatever. It wasn't my idea. But even the little trinkets that I brought in Puerto Rico had a sticker on the back that said "Made in China." I'm like, God damn! Does nobody make anything anymore? It's just China, Taiwan. We gave everything to all the Asian countries, and we've been cool with that for 2 generations now. And that shit's coming back to bite us in our ass. And so if we want to survive this restructuring, what is the first thing we have to do? I think we have to re-educate ourselves and retool ourselves back to the trades and bring production and manufacturing back to the U.S. I think that's honestly one of the easiest ways out. And I don't know if that's what she's going to say, but that might not be her top reason. Another thing we can do is definitely scale back on our military. Restructure for manufacturing and production, scale back on our military, and finally audit the Fed. And instead of making a central bank digital currency, we can make a true American currency and just print our own money and not have a private bank make our currency and control our currency for us. So those are my ideas. Let's see what they say.
More jobs, I guess? I don't know.
We would have to, well, the political refusal to get out of that downward spiral. So I'll give you an example. What is one of the greatest things we would have to do to increase productivity in the general economy?
More jobs, I guess? I don't know.
We would have to stop poisoning our people, including our children.
That's not happening.
So HHS has an extraordinarily huge, I think it's almost $2 trillion budget. And the reason it's so big is because Americans have been systematically poisoned for the last 2 decades. You have food that's poisoning, you have spray that's poisoning, you have all sorts of pharmaceuticals that's poisoning. It's a population that it's not sick, it's poisoned. And it's very expensive. You know, you're talking about a very expensive healthcare system. And one of the things that's happened is the private equity has rolled up a lot of the healthcare system purposely to run it in a way that it extracts money. So if you wanted to balance the federal budget, you've got to stop poisoning people. And we have seen from what's happened with the arguments about, you know, whether it's food or pharmaceuticals in Washington over the last year, Congress is absolutely committed, and the administration, to people. So we just saw a poll, I think 56% of Americans now believe that the COVID shots, you know, are part of a mass atrocity. The panel that was going to push to stop recommending the COVID shots just canceled their effort. So we continue to poison people with the COVID shots.
And it's also revealed in Trump's recent executive order giving a liability shield to the makers of glyphosate, which is sprayed on all our food.
So
Go ahead.
we had a fabulous toxicologist who's worked with groups, health freedom groups we've worked through. She's helped in numerous states stopping that legislation, you know, but it keeps coming back around. It keeps coming back around because the money behind it is incredible. And I was interviewing her, Jimmy, and she was talking about not just what it does to poison people, but what the impact is on fertility. And this is a scientist who's very detailed and specific and clear. And, you know, she's not a person who ever tries to be entertaining. She tries to be very factual. We get to the end of the interview, and she said, you have to understand that fertility is such that if this shield goes into effect, I consider it an extinction level event.
Solo creator who's still manually editing all of your short form clips, you need to check out this new AI. It can do that for you.
This right here is Opus Clip.
So, it certainly is going to be challenged in the court. I'm urging RFK to resign from HHS so he could go back and file a suit against the government and to
Right.
protect the people's right to sue when they get cancer from glyphosate. He's not doing that. So what's the reluctance for them to stop poisoning us? Is it just profit?
I think this is intentional depopulation.
Really?
There we go.
Wait.
She said it. It's soft kill. This is a soft kill tactic. This is intentional depopulation. Grow them fast and let them die fast. And so the one thing that I see, and I've been seeing for years, I think my generation they started like putting way more poisons and chemicals in the stuff like in the 80s, the 70s and 80s. But even nearly not as much as they do now. Like when you look at, how does McDonald's make their chicken nuggets? It's like, what the fuck? I don't think I was exposed to that as a child, but now children, this is what they grow up with. And this is an intentional thing. This is a soft kill tactic. And so how do we decrease the population? Because you got to read the Georgia Guidestones, and these people really believe shit like that. The Georgia Guidestones said that they can maintain the human population under 500 million people. 500 million people. That's just a little bit more than America. I think we got like 300 and something million people in America. 360 million or something like that, maybe. So they want the global population to be less than like the population of China. But how do they get down to that number when there's like billions of us now? Well, you do soft kill tactics in first world nations, and you poison the air, and you poison the food sources, you poison the water, you poison the medicine, you poison the information in the media, and now once again you have people in their 50s with degenerative brain diseases, thyroid cancers skyrocketing, all cancers skyrocketing, infertility skyrocketing. And if we stay on this trend for another 100 years, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. 100 years, another 200 years of some shit like this, the global population will be down to nothing, especially if they keep implementing their technocratic overlord scientific prisons with 15-minute cities and digital currencies and I ain't so excited for the future no more. I still gotta find the first interview I seen from this lady. I really think she was at her house, or maybe her office space is she just made it so comfy that it kind of looks like home. But I could swear, like, it just seems like she had two guys, come to her living room and interview her, and she was talking about digital. And this was like, man, not last year, year before last, at least a couple years ago. And she was already talking about like, they're gonna make because the guys were asking her about cryptocurrency and how is that going to affect the economy, blah blah blah. And she's the first person I ever heard say that no, the governments are going to make their own form of a cryptocurrency and they're going to call it a central bank digital currency. She's the first person I heard use that term. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is this lady? How'd she know this shit? Then I tried to share that video with somebody else. I could never find that fucking interview again. But recently she's been like very active on interviews and stuff, and she's just very
In
knowledgeable.
1998, I started to try and warn people about the money disappearing from the federal government. And what I said in 90, I kept saying it again and again for many, many years. And that is, if you don't fund the retirement systems, the only way you can balance the budget is by either delaying the retirement age or lowering life expectancy or both. And I remember Dr. Skidmore was the professor from Michigan State University who did the survey with his students of the missing money. And he was the one who was able to document 21 trillion had gone missing by fiscal 2015. And we did a lot to try and bring transparency to that. And the government's response was to pass something called FASB 56 that basically said you can keep secret books. And we have a wealth of information at Solari if you want to learn more about FASB 56. And Gabriel, I'll never forget this. I keep telling this story. I was sitting running errands in Bolivar, Tennessee, and I'm sitting in my car and I'm talking to him. And he says, well, why don't you give up talking about this? And I said, don't you understand? And so this is in the end of 2018. And I said, don't you understand, if we don't bring transparency to this, they're going to lower life expectancy. They've started to. So if you look at life expectancy from the beginning of the financial coup on, it started to decline. It was mostly in the lower income groups, and then in COVID, it accelerated. And I said, they're going to have to keep lowering life expectancy if we don't deal with this. And so when the pandemic started, the first thing I said to all of our subscribers is, it's an op. Worry about the op, just don't take the shot. And the reason I could say that and know it was true was I knew exactly what the numbers were. And if you look at the 21 trillion missing, 20 trillion was missing from DOD. So it's not surprising that DOD would want to authorize and run Operation Warp Speed.
That's scale. Beat base 44.
I wish I would have heard her say that shit from the start, but me and all my homies already knew like that shit is a op. It's a mandatory vaccine. Yeah. Mandatory. I don't know, Mr. Government. I don't know about that there, buddy. I don't know. I almost got fired from my job over that shit, yeah. I almost got fired. No sir, no ma'am. You remember? I still remember being my buddy was talking about that shit when it first came out. It was like you getting the. First of all, we was trying to figure out, is this shit real or not? Is this a real virus just going around? And then they started talking about the vaccine and then mandating it. Me and my homie like, you getting that shit? Hell fucking no, baby. Hell fucking no. I ain't gonna lie, like, for a little minute, COVID had me scared. I was kind of nervous about that shit. Yeah, but I ain't never take the vaccine, I ain't never get the fucking shot. I know one of my other buddies did, I was like, you really got that shit? He was like, hell yeah, nigga. I'm good, bro. Sometimes people try to scare you into doing shit, man. And now, once again, talking about decreasing life expectancy and all that shit. And they knew that shit was some kind of experimental test and some shit, man. Look, I'm not about to do that shit, bro. I done heard about the Tuskegee syphilis experiments. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I really want the brain implant. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna get like the 5th generation brain implant. You know, I'll let y'all play with that shit for a while. Make sure that shit's safe. And then I'll get one of the later versions. I don't want the 1st and 2nd version of that shit. I'm good. With that vaccine shit too. Yeah. Then they start coming out with new variant. Oh, we got this new vaccine. Well, y'all keep testing that out, man, until y'all perfect that shit, bro. I don't feel like I'm about to die from this thing, so I'll just take my chances. I'd rather take my chances. You feel me? And you know what? I'm happy too. There's that one quote out there is I never heard anybody who didn't take the vaccine say, "Oh man, I really wish I took that vaccine back in the day." But you hear people who took the vaccine say, "I wish I didn't take it." It's never the other way around. Right now, I'm still hella happy I ain't never took that shit. They say with blood donation, sometimes they ask you that now. If you ever took the COVID virus or COVID vaccine. It's like your blood is tainted. If you took that vaccine, they'd be like, "No, you want like normal, like non-vaccinated blood." Like that shit probably change your epigenetics or something. Like after you take that COVID vaccine, you a different kind of human now. You a different breed. I say my job was kind of urging everybody to take that shit, yo. I wasn't with it. Well, if you don't take it, you have to always wear a mask. I'll just wear a fucking mask inside the office. But y'all not about to scare me into doing this shit. You gonna fire me or not? Is it mandatory or not? I know at that time, like that was right before I started teaching in the prison, and so I was already going through like the paperwork for my background check and to get PREA certified and all this other shit, onboarding to go into prison. But then they figured out I didn't get vaccinated. And it's like, oh, well, you can't go in if you're not vaccinated because, the inmates are very susceptible because they can't just leave and they can't quarantine and all this stuff. And I was like, I get that. So you telling me if I want to take this new position to get a raise and start teaching in the prison, I got to get vaccinated? I'm good. And I didn't do it neither. I just waited until the county lifted the mandate. And then the county said, all right, we can have programs and services and vendors and volunteers back inside the prison, and the mandate is dropped. You don't have to have the COVID vaccine. You can have your COVID ID card and passport. Oh, that was a thing, the COVID card to show that you got vaccinated. Oh, wow. Yeah, I never had one of those. Motherfuckers had to show their IDs and prove the motherfuckers. And people were selling them shit, fake ones. I remember that too, The motherfucker approached me and was like, I can get you one for $1,000. And I thought about that too. Really, I thought hard about that shit too. I was like, man, I can just tell motherfuckers I got the shot. And I was like, you know what? I don't think that shit worth $1,000. I ain't even gonna lie, nigga. You know what? I would just be real with myself and everybody else. Nigga, no, I'm not vaccinated. No. You're gonna discriminate against me and not let me into your business? Are you not gonna offer your services to me? Man, look, whatever, man. Still.
As a way to decrease the population.
So there are two theories. One is the way to decrease the population, which I think is one of them. If you look at what's going on in the war, I think the goal here is, again, to decrease the population. We need to talk about what's happening with food, because I think, we're focused on energy. We need to talk about food. But the other for DOD is the question is, why did they keep trying with food, with spray, and with the injections to get nanoparticles into our bodies that make us more susceptible to interaction with invisible technology? So what does this have to do with the Internet of Bodies, and what are they trying to get in our bodies? Because clearly they're trying to get, these nanoparticles into our body. And they're very serious about the Internet of Bodies.
Can you tell me what that means?
So we have a wealth of information, the Slayer report, where we interview scientists who are expert at it. And so, Jimmy, I'm an investment banker. I can't describe it, but So here's what the various scientists we've interviewed say. So Michael Nels from Germany, or we just did Dr. Christian on neurowarfare. What they're saying is we're putting materials into the body that make it easier to control people and use technology to control them. Whether it's lowering cognition or making us more susceptible to interaction with telecommunications.
This is very true.
That's one of the aims of getting us to ingest all these nanoparticles?
That's the question. So, they've been very clear that they want to be able to get to the point where our bodies interact directly with the AI without having to carry a smartphone or look at you through a laptop. So the head of Nokia, the European telephone company said, what was it? It was the World Economic Forum. At some point you won't need to carry a smartphone. It'll be in your body.
So do you have to go? I think we're over time with you. Do you have to leave?
No, I got 10 more minutes.
Okay, that's fantastic. Okay. I want to talk to you about, you talk about ProGrid and flock cameras. I was in my car last night and I was looking up, and every street light had these cameras.
Right.
And I was in Pasadena, California for a dental appointment. I'm like, what is all these cameras? Tell me what those cameras are.
Flock cameras, it's a system to track its license plate readers. And what they're doing is,
Oh,
we have a
Mizu,
great
what's good,
collection
bro?
at Solari on local control. We also have
Got a
something
new
called the
song for
Approaching Digital Control Grid. And if you go to those two collections, there's a wealth of information. But what they do is they read your license plates. And so they're tracking who's moving what, and that's part of building the surveillance you need for spatial control. So literally, we're coming into a system. Congressman Massey has been trying to kill the kill switch in cars, but we're coming into a system where, if they say you're locked down or you can't travel a certain way, if the flock system identifies that you're in an appropriate place, presumably they can turn off your car. If you look at the Palantir Panopticon, they can also shoot and kill you.
Right. So this is what you speak of, the control grid. The flock cameras are definitely a main tool in this, and that so they can see you. If they, for instance, they say you can't travel this much, a certain distance from your house, and then the camera picks you up, they shut down your car, they shut down your currency, right?
Right. They can shut off your money too.
And they can turn
So there are three parts. If you go to the control grid collection, there are three main parts. One is programmable money that can be
turned on. And off.
Well, it's not just turned on and off, but added money to or subtracted or changed. There's all sorts of fine tuning, negative interest rates. Let's decide we want more taxes. We just say, okay, we're taking more taxes, and they just take it out of your money, or they put on negative interest rates. So one is programmable money. One is the digital ID, because I've got to make sure you're Jimmy and Catherine's Catherine. So you need a high quality digital ID and biometrics that are interoperable globally, because this is a global system. And then the third thing is the hardware and software infrastructure, the flock cameras, the Starlink satellites overhead, so satellite GPS, and all the cell towers. So there's a big push by the FCC now to basically ramrod all local controls of how many cell towers. They want to put cell towers every 400, 700 feet. And part of that is, and the big thing, of course, is all this data of surveillance and implementation of control, both spatial control and money, is mammoth amounts of data, so you need all the data centers. And of course, you want to do all of this in a way ultimately that the taxpayers pay for it, where we build our own prison.
So let me, before I let you go, wow, that is heavy. So how do we fight that?
So here's the little secret. There are thousands of ways we can fight it. Because if you look at who's building the control grid and who's financing the control grid, we are. So we're buying the stocks of those companies, we're shopping with those companies, we're putting our money in those banks, we are using all these digital mechanisms and saying, fine, Briggy, I'll get a digital ID. We have the power to stop. And the number one thing we can all do is pray. The number two thing we can all do is use cash, because this only works if they go to an all digital system. Anything you can do to get everybody using cash, it absolutely walks back the complete central control they need to make this go into effect. Then, if you come to our website, we have something called Coming Clean, and we also have a financial transaction freedom website. And they're full of thousands of things that you can do. The most important thing you can do is clean this stuff out of your own mind, out of your wallet, out of your bank account, because it's like having a parasite, Jimmy. It's like having a tapeworm. We're feeding the tapeworm. And if you stop supporting the tapeworm in all the different ways that we're all doing it, not only do you make yourself safer and stronger by getting the tapeworm out of your body and out of your mind and out of your life, but by cutting off food to the parasite, you make it easier for the rest of us too.
This year, we opened 2 new restaurants while running, how many?
5 others.
5 other restaurants. So we turned to Upwork. We found freelance pros to help with branding, digital menus, even AI tools to streamline operations. It was fast, affordable, and honestly a huge weight off our shoulders. Through platforms like Upwork, we found some freelance creatives.
The song I was working on yesterday.
So now, is there a
What's it
connection
called?
between this Iran war and Iran not having a central bank?
Braveheart.
So Iran has a central bank, But there is a connection between this wanting to get everybody into a control grid, okay? So if you look at what's happening right now, running a
They can
reserve
actually go and
currency
find the lights.
is
Where was that going with this?
ability to control the sea lanes. And the Straits of Hormuz are shut down, and the message from the United States is we don't control the straits, and we can't police the sea lanes. We're helpless to police the sea lanes. So it's a very negative message. Now, part of why this was happening is they want Iran and China, Iran's really a proxy for China, to not do a BRICS system or separate payment systems in a way that threaten the plans to do a global central bank digital currency, whether you do it through the central banks or you do it private like the US is trying to do it. So the people who run that are trying to get everybody in the model. So the war does relate to that. But if you look at what's happening, it was the City of London that shut down the straits by pulling the insurance. And now it's Iran that's working with them. And what that is doing is that is forcing the Europeans out of the US syndicate and having to negotiate directly with Iran and literally saying to the world, the US spends $1 trillion a year on military hardware, but they're incompetent to protect the straits. Now, I'm not sure I know whether that's gross incompetence or simply that's part of the plan. But what I will tell you is if you shut down the straits, and Goldman Sachs is saying it's going to be shut down for 21 days, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that all the materials you need to make the fertilizer in Europe and the United States at any kind of reasonable cost fail, and the spring planting will fail. That will not be available to farmers. We just ran a clip on the Solera report of a farmer in Iowa saying fertilizer prices are up 70%. I can't plant. Can't afford to plant. And the ramifications of closing those straits for 21 days to the global food supply is going to be astonishing. And that happens over the last year. The Trump administration has slashed and destroyed emergency food funding for poor people domestically, but also USAID globally. So you have slashed, $10, $20, $30 billion of emergency food provision for poor people. At the same time, you are you've been dramatically targeting the farmers ever since COVID started, but this is really going to slam farmers in Europe and the US throughout the Western world. So we're looking at serious dislocation in the energy markets, in the food markets, and just like the tariffs or COVID completely hiccup the supply chain, this is going to hiccup the supply chain. What does that mean? It means it's much easier for the guys at the top to centralize control. So during COVID, they shut down Main Street and were able to literally shut down in America 35% of the small businesses and consolidate huge market share from Main Street into the publicly traded stocks. That is going to happen again because the guys who've got access to the capital, are going to be, you got private equity out there with unbelievable amounts of money trying to buy up farmland. So, the consolidation of the small farmer, small rancher, small businessman, if this keeps up, is going to be very, very dramatic, and it's dangerous for us because family enterprise and family wealth is the basis of freedom. And if we allow everything to be consolidated into billionaire control, then we're going straight into the control grid. Now, I think they're going to fail. That's my, I'm an optimist about this, but I want everybody to get off the couch and start praying and using cash and fighting because we can stop this, but we got to get off the couch.
So you're saying just like during COVID when you couldn't go into I couldn't go into a sporting goods.
I have 2 minutes. I gotta go.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
all right, Jimmy.
I appreciate you taking time. I'm sorry we had that technical glitch. So that's how food. So everybody's talking about energy. But you're saying food is also the important thing about this. world.
I'm more worried about food than energy, but we gotta worry about both. So, in your life, what you've got to do is really think hard about where's your food gonna come from, and where's your food gonna come from, where's your energy gonna come from, and who are your neighbors, and how can you get together to do something about this? This is gonna come down to the local level. In World War II, we went from 0%, or within 2 years, 40% of Americans had victory gardens. Not a bad idea to do it again.
I can't wait to see how they'll try to stop that, because they will, right? They will definitely try to stop that.
Yeah, but there are only a few of them, and there's plenty of us.
Okay.
Get off the couch.
So overall, you are optimistic, not pessimistic, and you think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel of this
I
one?
definitely think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but I don't underestimate the damage these folks can do. So the faster we all get off the couch, the shorter the pain will be. So for a world of hurt. This is the year of the fire horse in the Chinese
Well,
zodiac.
not my whole life, but
And
as
the
long
fire
as I've
horse
been knowing this
means
shit,
dramatic
I've been
change.
trying to help
And
educate.
that's at the beginning of the year, I said to the Solari team, we meet once a week, and I said, our motto for this year is rock and roll. Get ready.
Hey, Catherine Austin Fitz, Solari.com. Everybody check out the amazing website, Solari.com. Appreciate you again. Thank you so much, and we hope to talk again
Thanks,
soon.
Jimmy.
Hey, we'll be in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, Burbank, California. That's on May 7th. That's a Saturday. Then we'll be in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, Spokane, Tacoma. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets. See you there.
Check this out. So you can basically enter a prompt like this and add a few details, and then the AI will essentially create a fully functioning website for you. You can even test out different layouts, different colors. You can even generate new images directly within the tool itself. I'm blown away. Honestly, this is such a game changer. This is going to make WordPress so much more accessible to anyone who wants an intuitive way to make their dream website.
Now going to be able to automate conversations when somebody follows. Someone loves their content, so they hit follow and they get a message. Really, really simple, deceptively simple, but the amount of flexibility that you can have is basically infinite. What we always suggest doing is going beyond just trying to share like a static link because you want to create an interaction. You can actually ask a question when somebody follows you to get to know your audience better. So in this example, we have the trigger, somebody follows you, then you ask a question, what type of interesting nutrition tips you want to hear more about? And it could be several options, quick and easy recipes, kind of listen to your energy. Then you can just say thank you. You can actually literally record that message into the profile of the person so that now you can have more information about your followers so that you can provide them with better content.
Somewhere.
When we talk about building a relationship and the interactive nature of Instagram, this is the power that we're talking about.
Okay. No, the song I was working on yesterday, I think I finalized it. Or when did it finalize yesterday? I don't know. All right, where are we at? Starting to get a little hungry now. I'm gonna try to go for another hour though. I wanted to do 3 hours this morning. Yo, good morning everybody. How we doing?
Trap House Entertainment. Situation dire, I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to do with my blood sucking vampires. Got us in a quagmire, maritime land pirate tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They lead them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain, evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling the truth, keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center of the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since, ain't I got a town. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in that gun, the IDF, and the Iron Dome about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the bullion on the under y'all, always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been knocking outrageous with the Bible pages. Say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before I break this is for Satan. Let's get on ready. Let's get on ready. Let's get on ready. Trap House Entertainment. Situation dire, I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to do with my blood sucking vampires. Got us in a quagmire, maritime land pirate tired of the satire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. Epstein and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They lead them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain, evidence like a mountain. Hit dogs start howling the truth, keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the center of the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since, ain't I got a town. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference that we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in that gun, the IDF, and the Iron Dome about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the bullion on the under y'all, always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, better cut time before I bring this is the same. Left feet on red. 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 Left feet on red.
Yeah, I like that song a lot. That's a good one. That's not a bad little jam. Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stoop. In here trying to get these hand wrinkles painted. Man, you know why people don't paint fingers and toes a lot? It's a pain in the ass. You know what? A finger is a pain in the ass. I digress. But these fingers, especially my fat, wrinkly, old looking motherfucker got mechanic hands. What's wrong with your fingers, bro? What you been dipping your hand in, son? Whatever it is, you need to stop. Stop putting your hand in it. It looks mummified. My finger hurt. You need to stop sticking it in places it don't belong. Boozy was good, broski. Yeah, working towards this third hour, man. I was hoping, I really said, it'll take about 3 hours to get that hand painted. I'm looking at the time now. I don't know if I can get this shit done in the next 45 minutes. I might now. This hand looking kind of rough. We getting there though. We made some progress this morning. Trying to get that second detail layer in there. That's when everything really started popping out, man. That second detail layer, make everything look different. Things start to come together. Really focusing on the contrast. Everything is light and shadow. Boozer got a new song. You was here for the new song? Got some new bars, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody think I'm a painter. I ain't no painter, man. I'm a gamer rapper. And then painter comes in somewhere close, tying it up at the end. Oh, here we go right here, broski. I got it right here for you, bro. Don't you worry. This shit called Braveheart.
Trap House Entertainment. Situation dire, I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires, got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirates, tired of the sad sire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. FB and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dog, start howling the truth. Keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the sit to the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since they knocked down the tower. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives, and they plunder IDF and the Iron Dome. Got me feel the thunder, screams from a tomahawk. How much does a Holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the boss, the Goliath, on the under y'all, always the underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, they've been knocking outrageous, but the Bible pages say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way, running out of patience with the leaders of the nation, so we better cut time before our greatness is forsaken. Let freedom ring. 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 Let freedom ring.
Yeah, I think, babe. One more time. Take another little break from listen to this shit heavy for the This is a good one, though. It's wordy, but the words are good words, though, you know? A bit wordy. Every word was needed.
Keep pushing sins higher, cause the leaders all liars. Too pure to their desires. They'll set the world on fire. Now the situation dire. I'll never call them sire. They ain't nothing to admire. Blood sucking vampires got us in a quagmire. Maritime land pirates, tired of the sad sire. Getting tight like they ain't trying to spread the news through the wire. Pedal pizza party, and we know who the buyers. FB and Jekyll Island, the files just keep piling. They need them to be silent for carrots that keep smiling. They leaking it like a fountain. Evidence like a mountain. Hit dog, start howling the truth. Keep it 1,000. Corruption is astounding, and it seems that we're surrounded by homicidal maniacs, all drunk on power. Elitist cowards walking the sit to the final hours. I've been taking notes ever since they knocked down the tower. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. We came from the same start and built from the same parts. On the difference is we not cut from the same cloth. They try to lock us in the dark, lost like some cave up, but I'ma let the truth shine because I got a brave heart. Been talking about this shit for years because I got a brave heart. Our government is run by psychopaths and they got insane thoughts. Global domination, but the world's about to change course. Now we strike back and hit the bully with the same force. Behold the pale horse that cause terror and warmonger. More damage, more death, more bombs, more hunger, war crimes, genocide, taking lives in that flooded IDF. And the iron dome about to feel the thunder. Screams from a tomahawk. How much does a holocaust is not considered a loss? If it came from the bottom, go you on the under y'all. Always no underdog, operating under law. Let me check my battle losses. 1947, every night and outrageous. But the Bible pages say they are the synagogue of Satan. Their way running out of pages with the leaders of the nation. So we better cut time before our greatness is Satan. That film red. That film red. That film red. That film red. That film
Pretty proud of that one. Like I said, I'm almost certain I might just drop that shit on YouTube as a single just to get it out there while people are still talking about this shit. And so I don't drop it in like a month and be like, oh, that shit's not relevant anymore. And like, no, I wrote that right in the middle. So I might
We'll come back.
You kidding me? Absolutely. Absolutely.
I really might drop that as a single on YouTube real quick.
It's easy to start selling on Depop. Just snap a few photos and we'll take care of the rest.
Look who we following. People would do for the United States because the United States is doing so much for other people. That's one way to take it. But if you really don't need the United States, wouldn't you want, the help of your allies at this time, and you, the United States, wouldn't you want to show the other countries that you still got it? You still got the strongest military ever. We have the strongest this and the biggest that. Wouldn't you want to show your balls at this point? If you really wanted to? Like, well, we really don't need them. If you don't really need them, okay, then prove it. Let them go, oh, wait a minute, they really didn't need us. That's right, that's what he said, but we completely obliterated Iran. It don't look
I
good,
need
Trump.
it after the war is ended and won. I need it before the war. So I was very upset not upset, I was not happy with the UK. I think they'll be involved, yeah, maybe. But they should be involved enthusiastically. We've been protecting these countries for years with NATO, because NATO is us. You can ask Putin. Putin fears us. He doesn't fear. He has no fear of Europe whatsoever.
Stop. Now, Putin came out. And responded to Trump. I'm gonna pop that. Remind me to play Putin's video. It was everybody was responding to Trump today, even Iran. And I don't want to miss that. I want y'all to see Iran's response.
He fears the United States of America and the military that was built by me in the first term. Yeah.
You mentioned the significant amount of oil that China derives from the Middle East. What is the status of your conversation with President Xi in terms of getting China to cooperate in terms of making the
China
Strait
said
of
no.
Hormuz safe for those oil tankers.
Yeah. So
And China got
China's a great
Iran's
example. They
back.
get 91% of their oil from the Hormuz Strait.
You hear that? They get 91% of their oil from them. So you think they're gonna have your back? You got another thing coming. Y'all wondering where Iran getting its help from? Look at China. If you ever think Iran is going to lose, I'm talking about you got a mental problem. This war is not ending tomorrow. This war is not ending next week. This war is not ending next year. Iran has China as backup. Yeah, and Russia. That's what I'm saying. You not gonna play with China, bruh. Again, China own America in a way. I might as well say, like I know a lot of people saying United States of Israel. But all of these people are in the same bed, but they all jockeying for position, right? They're all foreigners, okay? They're all foreigners, and now they're fighting for regime change. They want a regime change now. We wanna, okay, let's not cross that bridge until we get there type shit. But now they forcing them to get to that bridge. They either want certain people at the top. Netanyahu wanted Trump at the top. Remember, he came out his own mouth and said he wanted him to be a world leader. World leader. So even if Netanyahu not here, he's supposed to still fall up under that regime. Netanyahu's son still has not said anything since March 9th. Donald Trump has been on camera every goddamn day. We haven't seen Netanyahu live since March 9th. Matter of fact, since I played that video with him and Hannity from Fox 5. We haven't seen him since then. Now, I'm going to come back to this 5931. I'm going to come back to this because I want to play what Iran was saying. This is their lieutenant colonel right here.
A reminder to the corrupted island.
Because Bibi already know. If he give his location anywhere, bro, they're going to be able to track him. That's what I was thinking too, Amizu. Even if it's not me, just like random stock footage, the song definitely needs a video. It can't be just a thumbnail as the song plays through. No. Yeah. For that. But there's so much stock video that can go along with the stuff. I'm mostly talking about news and historical shit in there, so I can find stock video. Even if I do like record myself like briefly rapping a bar or two somewhere here and there. And use AI to like put me in some other scenario or something, or in a different location. That might be a little fun project to work on for today. The song is good, man. And we're listening to Dane Calloway. I mentioned Dane Calloway in one of my other songs. Dane, because his trademark line is, "I'm just here to make you think." I love that shit, bro. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I just want you to think anything, bro. Just start thinking. I'm giving you some information. I don't want to tell you what to think, but you need to just start thinking. I'm just here to make you think. So I put that in one song. Say Dane Calloway. Researching. I said I'm here to make you think. Dane Calloway researching papers. Something about Dane Calloway trying to make you great. What song that in? I can't even remember what song that was in.
The ground
wait, right here.
to the President of the United States. The outcome of war cannot be determined by tweets. The result of a war is determined in the tweet, the very place where you and your forces do not dare to approach, and you can only talk about it in your tweets. It's better to name this war as Epic Fear instead of Epic Fury.
He said it's better to name this war Epic Fear instead of Epic Fury.
Shop anniversary deals only $64 a month for 60 months during Ashley's anniversary sale going on now. Score amazing deals on everything you love, plus pay no interest until March of 2031. Shop more anniversary deals in store or
March
at Ashley.
2031. You know why? Because even by then, you ain't gonna be finished paying this shit off.
He go to Iran. Iranian foreign minister. When we say we don't want a ceasefire, hold on. When we say we don't want a ceasefire, yeah, I said that right. It is not because we're seeking war. It's because this war is moving real quick. It is because this war must end in a way that ensure our enemies never again think of repeating these attacks and aggression. And I think they've already learned a valuable lesson. This was yesterday. They realized what kind of nation they're dealing with. Not one. Hold up, wait a minute, that was a little quick.
Not one that's
They realized
hostile.
what kind of nation they're dealing with. One that won't hesitate, here we go, to defend itself and is ready to take this fight as far as necessary. This is them responding to Trump yesterday. Iran don't sound like they crying to me.
Bro, I hate that I'm back in the news like this. I haven't had
Here's some videos.
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been paying attention to the news really for a while because I just been winning so much. Yo, just shit. Shit has been good. And now, these warmongering, pedophile, psychopaths trying to hem us all up again. Son of a bitch. Now I'm worrying about gas and all kind of other shit. Is my bills gonna go up? How much my grocery bill gonna be next weekend? Because I use natural gas to heat and power my house. My gas company gonna send me an email saying, oh, there's been a 7% increase in your gas bill. Man, ain't my goddamn fault the motherfuckers over there fucking with these people. Now we go over there and fuck with these desert people. And leave them motherfuckers alone, man. Them motherfuckers built different. And like they saying, we not about to back down for y'all motherfuckers this time. Y'all a big bully, man. Y'all keep pushing motherfuckers around. This is it. We don't want to fight this war, but we ain't calling it a ceasefire until y'all realize y'all not just gonna be able to come keep doing this shit, bro. Over my dead body. And you know what? We're a unified nation. You're gonna have to kill us all then, goddammit. Because I got kids and grandkids, and I want my grandkids to have grandkids who grow up Iranian, with an Iranian history and pride for their homeland and their mother language and everything else. And you're not going to take that from us. And so, whatever y'all fucking say, we going to ride this bitch out. Somebody going to squeal piggy. And somebody going to say uncle. Somebody going to say uncle. Before we let up. And once again, if China is depending on 91% of its oil are from that region, you think they gonna fuck with them motherfuckers? Yeah. Anybody who looking out for me like that, I'm like, hey, cuz, what you need me to do? They doing what to you? What you need me to do, cuz? You know, you been looking out for me this whole time, man. You know what I'm saying? I fucking nigga up for you, cuz. You got Russia over there. Oh boy. Shit ain't looking too nice. It ain't that 3 hours yet. You might get this hand done in that 3 hour time frame I was hoping for. This ain't looking too bad right now. It ain't looking too shabby, you feel me? It ain't looking too shabby right now. Got that hand starting to pop out a little bit. A little 3D-ish. You know? It ain't looking too bad right now. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, do it. And do it till you're satisfied. Do it. Do it. Do it till you're satisfied. Whatever it is, do it. Okay, a little brush shit. TPG out this motherfucker, bro. TPG out this thing. Mm-hmm. Smooth it in. Rub it in there. Don't let it go to waste. Rub it in. And that's how you do it. Skin tones made easy. Gotta finesse it a little bit. You know? Get you one of these little teeny brushes right here. And then you do the plop, plop, plop like that right there. Man, look. The technique of the century. I picked this up from Michelangelo back in the day. A little more highlights on this round surface here. Try to round it out a little more. Okay. It's right on. Okay. Almost there, guys. Almost. All right. Michael D'Angelo.
Of Orthodox. Okay, I'm gonna put quotation marks up because y'all can't see me. I'm not on camera just yet. I will be soon. I'm gonna be on camera. Once I'm on camera, I'm gonna be on camera from that point forward. But I'm putting quotes up right now. Put the quotes up. These are videos that Israel don't want y'all to see of so-called Orthodox Jews versus so-called Zionist Jews, or whatever y'all want to call them, mofos. Hold up, let me go to 9x16.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many, from passion projects to enterprise-grade systems, everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality.
Base 44.
Yesterday.
That's all that. And they was throwing stones or something. Yeah.
Tel Aviv. Sorry about that. Tel Aviv. And he got a baby right there. And they doing all that. They don't care. He had a baby the whole time. They doing all that while that guy got a baby walking down the street here. Now, this ain't it. It's a lot of people coming out standing against Netanyahu. Okay? They call themselves a Jew. Now, I want to play something else really quick on while we on that topic of Netanyahu.
Not that
real
picture.
Quick. I want to play.
They keep showing that picture of him like he got bombed or
This
something.
is. Let me make sure I say her name correctly. I'm going to try to say her name correctly. I may butcher her last name.
Can't find that picture.
She's former U.S. intelligence officer. Her name is Josephine Gilbo. I believe her last name is pronounced Gilbo. Former U.S. intelligence officer. And this is her take on Israel.
For 1 year, I have watched Israel burn children alive. You don't care about veterans. You don't care about American values. You are destroying this country. Shame on all of you. May God give you the
You was right the first time. She said this company. You was right the first
You
time.
don't care about American values. You are destroying this country. Shame on all of you. May God give you the moral courage. May God give you the moral courage to do the right thing. May God give you your heart. Please. Shame on you.
We need veterans from California all the way to New York to stand against what we are witnessing right now. Your voice is so powerful.
All right. So, former U.S. intelligence officer, standing up. I'm letting that sink in. Now here it is. Wait a minute, they gonna say his name. His name is Thomas Gold. Or Good. He's the Irish member of the parliament. Irish member of the parliament. Here we go.
The photographs and the pictures and the videos that come from there.
2024.
And you hear the screams of people screaming at the Israeli government burned men, women, and children alive. They burned them alive. And the world stands by while 15,000 children are being slaughtered. 35,000 men and women are children. And it's unbelievable. The genocide that's happening. A child with no head. A child with no head. And the Israeli government say it's a mistake. A mistake. I hope that Benjamin Netanyahu burns in hell to save Eden children and their families burned. I hope him and his generals and the far-right government of Israel that when their God finally brings him to the resting place, that he deserves to burn in hell. Because what is happening now, not alone is it apartheid, not alone is it atrocity and a war crime, it's just horrific. It's just horrific what they're doing. Where is the soul? Where is the soul of the Israeli people that allows their government to do this to children? Where is their humanity? The Israeli people, the Jewish people, after everything the Jewish people have suffered down over the decades, that they would allow their government to do this to other human beings. Human beings. But in the eyes of Netanyahu and his far-right Israeli government, Palestinians are human. Beings. But today here, the Irish people say, we recognize Palestine. We recognize that they are human beings, just like every one of us. Shame on Israel. Shame on what they've done, and it will never be forgotten.
2024. Now, this was yesterday. This was a guy. I'm going to grab his name really quickly. I want to get his name. I don't know if I should share his name or not, but I want to give him credit because he did this on his own. But I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, they do anything like as far as like get rid of his Instagram, then you know why. But his name is the Dutch Revert on Instagram. The Dutch Revert. The Dutch Revert actually took it upon himself to follow Bibi Netanyahu's plane. Watch this.
After the video I made yesterday that's already over 5 million views, a lot of you had the question, how do I know that he was put in a medically induced coma before flying to Germany? Well, let me tell you. What you're watching behind here are the flight details of the Wing of Zion, the aircraft for Bibi Netanyahu. But watch this. So the aircraft takes off from Tel Aviv. There you go, takes off. And then does this for about 4 hours. Why would the Wing of Zion be circling the coast for about 4 hours? Well, the only thing that comes to mind for me is they are here putting him in the medically induced coma and trying to stabilize him along with probably some other victims. So I went to ChatGPT and asked ChatGPT, hey, give me some more information about this plane. So I asked, what's the registration flight number of this plane? And ChatGPT went, 4X ISR, Wing of Zion. As you just saw in the video, same code. All right, let's keep going. I then asked, is there a hospital on board the plane, i.e. a hospital equipped well enough so you can stabilize someone and put them in a medically induced coma? Yep. Let's continue. All right, let's have one more look. Right there, 4X ISR confirmed the Wing of Zion. But let's look at the flight path, because he circles the coast of Gaza for about 4 hours-ish and then proceeds to go to Europe. So let's wait for him to fly to Europe. So after being stabilized inside the plane, he is then moved to Europe. Cyprus rejects him. They were like, you are not welcome here. He then flies to Greece, and Greece is like, no, Malaka, try Italy. We don't want you here, Malaka. Keep going. So they come to Italy.
Because every country knows, bro, if anybody is tracking you, man, you a wanted fucking nigga, bro. Hey, don't come to our country, bro, so they can fucking send a missile here trying to fuck your ass up. No, sir. No, sir. Don't run from the cops and come run in my house, nigga. You about to bring those shits here. I'm already doing some shit that I don't want the cops to see. Don't bring those niggas to my front door, nigga. Do that right here. I wasn't a part of that shit. Now, if I'm a part of it, I ain't got no choice. I'm going where I can. But if you in trouble and I ain't had no parts of that shit, man, hey, don't bring that shit to my front door, nigga. I got my own issues right now. So I guess he's going along with the narrative that BB actually did sustain some type of life-threatening injuries from an Iranian attack. Because that picture looked crazy.
And Italia was like,
because I did see the picture twice, and now you can't find it hardly anywhere. But now with AI, the AI stuff, bro, I doubt everything. It used to be like believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. Now you can't even believe half of what you see, nigga. You can't believe half of that shit. It's like, God damn, bro. So it's believe none of what you hear and none of what you see. If you wasn't there when it happened and you can reach out and touch a motherfucker, you don't know if that shit real or not, bro. You just don't know. And so I hate that that's my first thought now. I seen that picture, it's like, oh, BB was injured or something like that, and he's like kind of getting pulled out of the rubble, but he got like blood on his face and stuff. My first thought was like, that shit AI, man. That's some propaganda shit right here. But now people saying he hasn't been alive on TV in a while, and then there is this video now saying he was at some coffee shop or something, and people are saying that's actually a fake video for Iran. Israel trying to get the world to believe that he's fine and he's okay or whatever. I don't know. Like I say, man, with the AI shit, bro, and as much as I use it to fuck around with it, I know for a fact I don't trust shit at all. I don't trust nothing. Even before AI, when Obama told us he killed Saddam, and he killed when Obama said he killed Osama. That shit always fucked me up saying their names back to back. When Obama said he killed Osama, and everybody's like, all right, where the body at? They're like, oh, we threw his body in the ocean. See, I can't believe y'all niggas. I can't believe that. And that's before AI. You know what I'm saying? I've been hella skeptical of anything these motherfuckers tell us ever. And now it's just like I said, you can't even believe your own eyes no more. I saw a picture of this motherfucker all fucked up in a rubble. But is that shit real? I can make that image myself right now in 5 minutes. All they gotta do is put in a decent prompt. Use a photo, find a decent photo reference, write a decent prompt, plug in a photo reference, and then just wait 2 minutes. And you're good. And if it don't come out perfect the first time, just tell it like, no, change this about it and make it look this way. You're in there. Next 5 minutes, I can have a piece of propaganda footage. And then I can take that shit and take just the image and say, animate this into a video. And then now I got a 6-second news clip. And here's breaking footage from Tel Aviv. So, no body, no proof. Ain't no damn proof they killed that nigga. We got the murder weapon, but y'all ain't got the body? What the hell? Normally you have the body and no murder weapon. Now you got motherfuckers saying, I killed him with this gun right here. I'm showing you this gun. This is what I used to kill him. Well, where the body at? Oh, we ain't got the body though. Wait a minute. Y'all motherfuckers working in reverse, ain't it? Hold on. No, but he's dead for sure. You can trust us. And then after SEAL Team 6 said they killed Osama and threw his body in the ocean, a couple months after that, SEAL Team 6 died in a helicopter crash. You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make that shit up, bro. Wait a minute. One of the most elite fighting teams that our military has produced in recent decades that took out the most wanted man in the world. They get in an accident and all them niggas dead? Oh, wow. Come on, man. Y'all got to spin the story better than that. Y'all running out of scripts now. Y'all got the worst people when they writing this stuff, man. Who wrote this shit? How we supposed to believe this tomfoolery? Ah, damn it, we just hit 3 hours, but we're almost done. We're so close, guys. We're right here at it. We're right here at it, man. Give me another 15 minutes. We'll wrap it up.
No, ma che cazzo, è affanculo, keep flying. Maybe France. No, France also, nope.
Yeah, Germany.
Of course, Germany will accept the Ziosh Nazi leader. Yeah. So he arrives in Berlin, where he then allegedly spent some time in hospital with his 6 fingers and eventually passed away, not only because of his injuries, but allegedly also because of negligence.
All right. Now, that's the reason why I got Trump with 6 fingers in the thumbnail, okay? So it's like basically we were all like, hey, y'all not reporting or what happened to Netanyahu. And it's a lot of people from Iran to Russia to, who was that? We saw a couple pieces from China. A lot of them are reporting that he's gone and his brother. Oh, and people in the U.S. as well. So, again, that's still not confirmed by our media. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing. I believe he gone. Now, I remember when I showed y'all this, y'all probably didn't see that because this was at the tail end of the live stream.
Candace Owens said there is a cover-up afoot regarding the health of Bibi Netanyahu. The United States government should be addressing this head-on, but there is a directive to stay mum. What's going on? Haven't they lied enough? Now, Candace went live today. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to have to clip some of that stuff up. Candace went live today, and she was addressing this situation as well. Everybody still don't know. We don't know, if he is alive or if he isn't. But we're all saying the same thing. We still believe that if he is alive, why isn't he showing himself? The same question that the news media is asking.
You say who fly this motherfucker to all these countries? Like Greece, Italy, France, everybody who flying this motherfucker? He getting rejected at everywhere you go. Say they let him into Berlin, but he succumbed to his injuries and probably a little bit of negligence. Rumors. Everybody just saying it's a rumor right now about nobody knows any hard facts. Our government hasn't put out an official declaration statement or anything like that, but I wonder who is number two now. Like, if anything were to happen to him, I don't know how their government is set up. Because he's basically a dictator. He's been in there since 99 or 96 or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. But after being in there for so long, I'm almost certain he has like his favorite next person lined up, ready to go. If anything were to ever happen to him. But is the next one, and see what he has to do is make sure that his successor is completely in line with the dream that he's had for the last 40 years. Yahoo's a real dictator, bro. Warmongering one at that. So, in order for his dream and agenda to continue, and the next motherfucker gonna have to be just as hardcore. I doubt if they lack people like that, though. All right, about to wrap it up here.
Iran leader. Okay, hold up.
Yo, thanks everybody.
They're saying that the new Iran leader, which is the son of that guy, was.
We are definitely listening to some news this morning. Haven't been on the news in a while, but I feel like with the way shit is going right now, all of us need to like at least know what's going on. And then for the longest. I really don't listen to legacy media. So I don't get my news from Fox or MSNBC or any of these people. So I do try to find like highly intelligent, independent media sources. And the guy I'm listening to right now, Dane Calloway, he's a really, really, really smart guy. He's actually sent me down a rabbit hole on a quest to verify some information that he's given out over the years, that he was the first person that I personally ever heard present this information in the narrative the way that he does. And ever since I heard him talk about those issues, I've always liked Dane Calloway. do I agree with everything he says? No, I don't agree 100% with anybody all the time. But Dane is definitely one of my go-to people if I want an opinion on certain issues. I like his opinion on stuff. We have a very similar opinion, kind of an echo chamber, I would say, which isn't always good, but just to see if my thinking like lines up with other people who I think are rational, level-headed people. Haven't listened to any Candace Owens in the past couple of days, but even Dane said that she put out some stuff questioning whether Netanyahu is safe and secure, or if there is some real concerns about his health and well-being. So, like I say, when I saw the photograph of him, it was like, oh, he's dead. I'm like, that's AI, and I'm not believing that. But as the days go by, like more and more people are kind of saying, like, you know, nigga might be gone, man. No matter the stronghold Israel and America has over the media, and like the truth gonna have to come out soon, bro. Because if he is down and gone, then that's just like something for Iran to brag about. Like, nigga, you killed our supreme leader, and now look what happened to you. And that's a show of force and a threat that they can make everybody else. Hey, man, look, y'all see what we did? Anybody else want to keep fucking around? Get the same treatment. Bro, I'm trying so hard to measle. Dude, I'm trying. I wanted this to be my stopping point for today. So it looks like we're right at it. I wanted to get it done in about 3 hours. Took a little bit longer, but I've been fiddling around on YouTube and took a couple bathroom breaks. And that thumbnail that I'm using today, it took me a minute to get that one this morning. So yeah, I'm hungry now. I'm about to wrap it up, shut it down, and go find me something to eat for breakfast. Tomorrow I'm back at work, back to my regular scheduled program. All right, that ain't looking too shabby, honestly, right there. That ain't looking too shabby at all. So when we come back, we can start detailing the face. And that'll be the last part of the skin tone. We get his face done, and we'll just focus on the clothes and walk our way to the end from there. It don't seem like much longer now. Probably take another day or two for the face. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the face, maybe Saturday and Sunday for the clothes and hair. I might be able to finish this by the end of this weekend. Because I'm thinking I'm not gonna do a lot more to the pink shirt that he's wearing. Her blue shirt, there's quite a bit more highlights I do want to kind of get in there. But the pink shirt seems good. The dreads are almost basically wrapped up. The braids are gonna need a good bit of highlights, but once again, that's not a lot of different color variations, so that shouldn't take too much longer to wrap the braids up. All right. I think that might be us for the day. That might be it right there. Hoy. What y'all think? I might need to soften it up in a few spots. Uh-oh. Get this. right. All right. I think that is gonna do it for us for today. I want to dump this thinner out, make sure I got some pretty clean thinner on my next go around. I like it. I think it looks good. All right, guys, I sure appreciate everybody popping in the stream, checking us out today. As we progress on these portraits right here, our next installation to the Whisper series, which is coming along pretty good. I still like doing this. That shit is pretty badass, right? So, well, close it out right here, but I will catch you guys in the next one. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Peace. We're out of here.